Welcome to Travels in Pictland. In today's adventure we're going to go and look at Restenneth Priory in the county of Angus, the birthplace of Scotland. Come with me as we explore Restenneth Priory. We're going to go through the town of Forfar and out to Restenneth. I'll show you the road signs and where to park. Okay, let's go. Looks like we're having a bumper crop of tatties here in Angus. Look at these beautiful views. What a lovely place. Anyway, I have to hit the road. We're off to Forfar. That's where we're heading, Forfar. Better go that way then. I'm still on the road to Forfar, but here's an interesting village. Didn't expect to see that. Must have lost my way a wee bit. Forfar's a bustling market town, full of independent shops and people coming and going. It's a busy place, surrounded by beautiful farmland. There we are. This place is really well signposted. So we've come right through Forfar, and here we are. The place, Restenneth, is very well signposted, so you don't need to worry. Once you're into Forfar, you can't miss it.
And they wanted me to answer the most common ones.
This is where you park at Restenneth Priory. Here we are, folks. This is the car park at Restenneth Priory. I'm no kidding. And we'll swing round. We're going to show you the Prior's house. Oh, a wee bit wobbly. Here folk can hear the dogs barking, they're not too happy. And there's the Priory in the background. And we're going to walk through this person's gate and garden and head off into Restenneth Priory. You're in for a treat. This place. Here we have the Prior's house. Yeah, Sammy, come on Sam, we're going to look at this historic monument. Come on, you've got to behave, you're on film. What a beautiful place this is. You know, you can go to many tourist spots in Scotland and some of them are absolutely mobbed with people. But this is Restenneth Priory and I'm here alone and it's very tranquil. So, Restenneth Priory, it's got quite a history. Restenneth Priory is a ruin now, and has been since the Reformation in the 1560s. So the signposts say, and the kind of acknowledged version of the history of Restenneth Priory says that King David I, who was around about 1155, the year 1155, David I founded various Augustinian monasteries, and this was one of them. He was following the reforms that his mother had instigated. His mother, King David's the first mother, was Margaret, who became Saint Margaret. She was the wife of Malcolm Canmore, the man who slew Macbeth. We're going right back here. And so yeah, David was Saint Margaret's son, and she didn't like the Culdee church, the native Celtic church. She really didn't like it at all. She was a Hungarian Roman Catholic and their practices were quite different and their monks looked really different. And I think she didn't like them. They were a disorganised, scruffy lot in her mind. And David pretty much thought the same thing, and the pair of them brought Roman Catholic or Roman clerics up to Scotland, which had been happily Christian with the Culdees for many years. So we'll talk about them a little bit later, but that's the background to this place. David I, around about 1155, founded an Augustinian priory here at Restenneth, and beautiful it is. There's a couple of information plaques dotted around the place giving you the main history of what's the Orthodox history, if you like. So before David I founded the Augustinian priory here, there was a Culdee priory. Now the Culdees were a shadowy Christian group that really held sway in Scotland up until about the 12th or 13th century, when they were finally given a sort of ultimatum where they were given a leader. The Culdees had never had a leader before. They had abbots, some of whom were hereditary. But the Culdees practiced a different kind of Christianity. They were ascetics. They practiced meditation and healing, and were more concerned about reconciliation than the Roman Church at the time. But they were superseded eventually, and they were pulled into the Augustinian order and held eventually to the Rome's rule. Anyway, so that's what happened to the place. But who founded the Culdee monastery? Well, if we look back in the records, we can see that King Nechtan of the Picts, because this was Pictland, remember, not Scotland. King Nechtan of the Picts contacted the Roman Church down in Northumbria, where the Angles lived, and asked for masons to come and build a stone church in the Romish fashion, apparently it said. Now, there's no evidence of anything else anywhere, but if you look at the bottom courses of the stonework here, they date back much further than all the rest. This is very likely Nechtan's church. It's been argued by many people, historians, archaeologists. There's never been a serious, honest, open discussion about it. But when you come here and see it, you can see. Over time, the inside of Restenneth Priory was used as a burial place for local dignitaries. For me, this is the most interesting part of the priory. The lower courses of the stone only go up to about here, where these huge blocks and different techniques are very clearly different than what's above. We'll not keep him anywhere once he's off. You want a neb a boot? Go on. Can't go in that bit, Sammy. Right. Hey! Sam's investigating the local rabbits. Good boy, Sam. Yeah, good lad, aren't you? Hey, we'll get you on here, hey. You can see the different varieties of stonework and techniques used in building the priory in this view. Apparently the Augustinian priors were very sympathetic to the Culdee churchmen that they met. I mean, the Culdees married, they lived within the community, they weren't celibate, they didn't really have a hierarchy, they didn't have a big structure, they were very independent and lived in usually very small communities. Unless they were married, they actually lived within the community. And they were the holy men of the day. Remember, these were the days when we had holy men who were warriors. We had holy men who were hermits. And all of these guys were under the name of the Celtic Church. which the Culdee Church, the Servants of God or the Friends of God, I believe that means in Gaelic. So there we have it. We're at Restenneth Priory, and it's the most wonderful place to just come and chill out. This information board gives you a good look at the priory and its layout in the past. Another thing about Restenneth Priory which isn't commonly known is that Robert the Bruce's son, John, who died as an infant, the child of quite a famous mother who Robert the Bruce married quite wisely, I think, and her name was Elizabeth de Bruff. She was massively influential with Robert the Bruce and his ideas of freedom. Why was Robert the Bruce's son, infant son, buried here? Interesting. Must have been royal connections here that we don't really know about these days. Yeah, anyway, something to think about. There you are. See you later. So as you can see, Restenneth Priory is empty apart from me. And this is another one of these amazing historic places that I often find myself alone at. I quite like that, but I'm sure some of you folks would love to come and see this. It's free, doesn't cost anything, it's wonderful, it's good for the soul. Hi, I'm standing here trying to keep out of the wind. I'm in the ruin of Old St Michael's Church, which is quite close to where I live. It's a 13th century church that was trashed during the Reformation, as usual. Anyway, thanks for watching the channel. I really appreciate all the comments, funny comments, informative comments, suggestions, all of that. Please keep them coming. I will do my best to reply to everybody. In the meantime, thanks for watching the channel. Stay safe, and I'll see you later.